Hey everyone, it's Pez Charlie here, and today we're going to be talking about what is undeniably the most important part to understanding the Tekken story, and that's the Devil Gene. So why is it called the Devil Gene? Well, in Tekken 4, Kazuya's mind gets taken over by another being, and this being says, "I'm what you refer to as Devil." In Japanese, the Devil Gene is primarily known as Debi no Chi, or Devil's Blood, which implies that it's passed down through blood relatives, which we know to be true, which I'll discuss later. The known carriers of the Devil Gene are Kazumi Mishima, her son Kazuya Mishima, and his son Jin Kazama. It's worth noting that Kazumi's maiden name is Hachijo. While not a carrier in the same way as those characters, Azazel is the progenitor of the Devil Gene. It's unclear how the Devil Gene was inherited through Azazel though. Jinpachi Mishima was originally stated to be a carrier of the Devil Gene, but this was later retconned by Harada on Twitter. Since the Hachijo family were introduced as the bearers in Tekken 7 and Jinpachi was introduced in Tekken 5, Jinpachi couldn't have had the gene since he's not a blood relative of Kazumi. Naturally, some will say that Jinpachi couldn't possibly have the Devil Gene since his son Heihachi doesn't have it either. However, it could have just been that Heihachi's mother's genes were more dominant in Heihachi's body than Jinpachi's were, but in any case, Jinpachi is not a carrier. While not a canon character, Jin's mother, Jun Kazama, has an evil alter ego named Unknown, who has been theorized to be a carrier of the Devil Gene as she bears the same mark of the devil on her arm that Jin does. Unlike other Devil Gene carriers, however, Jun is accompanied by a wolf spirit in the first Tekken Tag Tournament game, and is implied to be protective of Jin in her ending. As we've established, all of the carriers are related through blood. They're all related to the Hachijo bloodline, which includes Kazuya and Jin, despite them not sharing the Hachijo surname. Interestingly, it seems like there's only one devil, so ordinarily there should only be one Devil Gene carrier at any given time. You see, it wasn't until after the passing of Kazumi that Kazuya first activated his Devil Gene, and it wasn't until Kazuya almost passed away that Jin first activated his. As a result of Kazuya almost passing, part of the devil that he had was lost, and that's the part that possessed Jin. So we've discussed how Devil Gene users are all connected by blood, but there may be a way to actually implant the Devil Gene within yourself. At least that's what Heihachi thought. Heihachi tried to implant the Devil Gene in himself through various means. Originally, his plan was to implant Ogre's blood and tissue into himself to create a new life form, but would later learn that he lacked the Devil Gene necessary to harness Ogre's powers. Genocell was designed by G-Corp to reforest Arizona, but the Mishima Zaibatsu, under Heihachi's command, stole the data and used it in their Devil-Human integration program. Remember that if Heihachi had the Devil Gene, he could then combine himself with Ogre's DNA. As explained by Dr. Abel in Julia's Tekken 4 ending, the Devil cells ordinarily destroy the human cells, but Genocell allows for a viable life form to be created. Given that the Devil Gene was necessary to fuse Heihachi's DNA with Ogre's, it's actually possible that Ogre and the Devil Gene are related somehow. In the Tekken 5 minigame Devil Within, Ogre's presence was actually enough to trigger Jin's Devil Gene, which further implies a connection, though those events aren't confirmed as canon. While also not canon, in Tekken 6 Scenario Campaign, Julia also mistook Azazel for Ogre. So how do you actually activate the Devil Gene? Well, Kazuya first activated his Devil Gene after being thrown off of a cliff by Heihachi prior to the events of Tekken 1. Jin first activated his Devil Gene after being in the head by Heihachi after the events of Tekken 3. Both of these first activations occurred after the carrier should have died. From this, it seems that the carrier must be in a near-death state in order for the devil to take over, and then forever gain a level of control over them. Kazumi is a bit different. Heihachi claimed that Kazumi broke out in a fever, then tried to kill Heihachi. This wasn't in her full devil form either. It could be that Kazumi had already had her first activation prior to this, or perhaps the fever was so bad that it did threaten her life. After the carrier returns to their human form after the first activation, it seems that the devil will awaken when the user feels strong emotions such as anger. Jin partially transformed in his Tekken 4 ending when his hatred for Heihachi was high enough to make him want to kill him. In Tekken 6, he seems to partially transform and resolve to kill Azazel, as Azazel's laser beams are unable to touch Jin. In the non-canon Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Jin transformed after finally reuniting with his presumed unalive mother, only for her to then literally disappear in his arms. And in the non-canon movie Tekken Blood Vengeance, Jin transforms after resolving to kill Kazuya. Jin's Devil Gene has actually also been triggered as a result of Jin having nightmares, as confirmed in his Tekken 5 story mode. Inversely, Jin was able to gain a very temporary level of control back from the devil when confronted with the likes of his blood relative Asuka, his rival Hwoarang, and his friend Xiaoyu in Tekken 6 scenario campaign. When Kazuya came face to face with Jin for the first time, Kazuya's Devil Gene was activated. This could also explain why Jin transformed when confronted with Azazel and Devil Kazuya. So perhaps when confronted with another Devil Gene user, the Devil Gene just activates? Or perhaps only the first time? It's not entirely clear, but it's something to go off of. In his Tekken 4 ending, Kazuya managed to unify himself with the devil against the devil's wishes. Since then, he's been able to activate the Devil Gene whenever he wants to, and remains in complete control while transformed. Producer Michael Murray says that he can transform at will for short periods. It seems that Jin is now able to control his Devil Gene in Tekken 8, as implied by Tekken 7 story mode ending, and Jin's moveset in Tekken 8 also shows this. So we've spoken a lot about the Devil Gene, how to get it, how to activate it, but what does it actually do? Well, when it's active, we immediately see changes in the user's appearance, and there are multiple stages of transformation. Kazuya has shown a red eyes form, a form where he gains the third eye, a purple skin form which keeps many of his human features intact, doesn't destroy his clothes but does give him some devil features such as wings. He has a full purple devil form with a tail, horns, and destroys his clothes. There's also in Tekken 7 a form which is presented as his final form, where many eyes are added to his wings. Also in the Blood Vengeance movie, while it's not canon, he shows another final form, which also made an appearance in the Tekken Tag Tournament 2 demo. Similarly, Jin has shown multiple forms, one where he just gains a third eye, a devil form without chains, which also seems to keep his mind intact, a devil form with chains and horns. Then there's Devil Jin's Tekken 5 ending, which shows a non-canon form as well after absorbing Jinpachi. Similarly to Kazuya, he also has a form from Blood Vengeance in the Tekken Tag Tournament 2 demo, though neither of these are canon. We've only seen two forms from Kazumi, that being her Red Eyes form and her full Devil form. In Scenario Campaign, when playing as Devil Jin, Alyssa refers to Asuka as Jin's relative, not your relative, when speaking to Devil Jin, as further proof that the devil and the user are two separate entities. Devil Jin also doesn't fully recognize Heihachi or Jin's high school. He also doesn't recognize the name Eddie, despite Eddie being one of Jin's soldiers. He does know who Kazuya is, however, and even says that he was looking for him. So perhaps he recognizes Kazuya as he's also a Devil Jin user. And remember that Kazuya and Jin are both possessed by two parts of the same devil. While not being from a canon source, that source being Tekken Blood Vengeance, Alyssa does claim that the Devil Gene strengthens the user's cellular compounds to 10 times that of a normal human. And this isn't necessarily hard to believe, as Devil Jin is powerful enough to destroy an entire forest, as seen in Jin's Tekken 5 story mode. While in the transformed state, the user also gains a number of new abilities: third eye beams, flight via wings, and telekinesis. Devil Kazuya was shown using telekinesis with just his eyes. All he had to do was look at Heihachi to send him flying. As Devil Jin is shown to use telekinesis with his hand, potentially except for against Azazel, when Azazel's lasers couldn't touch him. Though it wasn't clear if Jin was actually partially transformed or not. Devil Jin users are also able to communicate with each other telepathically, as shown to us when Devil Kazuya was able to enter Jin's mind in Tekken 4. Jin also said that Azazel communicated with him telepathically in Tekken 6. So all of this sounds pretty strong, but there are actually counters to Devil Jin. Jun Kazama, Jin's mother, displayed her ability to suppress the Devil Jin in her Tekken Tag Tournament 1 ending, and Asuka Kazama displayed her ability to do so in her Tekken 5 ending. Devil Kazuya also questioned if Jin's Kazama blood was preventing him from transforming in Kazuya's Tekken 4 ending. Aside from the Kazama blood being a counter to the Devil Gene, Heihachi also believed that Claudio would be able to exercise the devil in the Tekken 7 story mode, recruiting him for that very purpose. However, we don't know if he's actually able to do so, as we didn't see him make an actual attempt. We also know that Angel was able to counter the devil. Angel was a being that, as implied by her name, is the opposite of devil. Angel fought against devil to purify Kazuya's soul in Tekken 2, but judging by future games, she lost. She was said to represent the good in Kazuya, and I believe she may also represent the good in Jin. This is because in Angel's Tekken Tag Tournament 2 ending, Angel is shown to defeat Devil Kazuya in combat, leaving behind a single white feather on his body. Similarly, in Jin's Tekken 4 ending, Devil Jin is shown flying into the air, leaving behind a single white feather on the ground beneath him. Unfortunately for Angel, however, it seems that she was too late to purify Kazuya's soul, as Harada claimed that Kazuya is not human in response to a tweet showing a screenshot of Kazuya from the non-canon game Project Cross Zone, in which Kazuya states that the power of angels will be his. Harada confirmed here that Kazuya is completely evil, despite what we've seen in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. However, hope isn't lost for Jin. We already know that he's displayed as a hero in the Tekken narrative, but Devil Jin also has fully jet black feathers on his wings, but he has one palette swap where those jet black wings turn to white feathers, which seems to be symbolic of the good in Devil Jin users. So what would happen if the devil were to actually be exorcised from the user's body? Well, it's possible that devil would take a physical form separate from the human vessel, as Kazuya was seen facing against the devil in his Tekken 2 ending. So why exactly is the Devil Jin the key to understanding Tekken's story? Well, as we learned in Tekken 7, the entire reason that Heihachi unalived Kazumi and threw Kazuya off the cliff was to rid the world of the Devil Jin. This is exactly what started the feud between Heihachi and Kazuya, and eventually Jin. The feud between Heihachi and Kazuya is what caused Kazuya to claim the Mishima Zaibatsu for himself, only for Heihachi to make another attempt on Kazuya's life, leaving him near death once again, leading to Kazuya's body being recovered by G Corporation. Heihachi eventually wished to make the devil's power his own, which is what caused him to use Jin as bait to lure out Ogre, shoot Jin in an attempt to unalive him, and then cause Jin to activate his Devil Jin for the first time. After this, Kazuya and Jin would then begin feuding, purely because Kazuya wished to recover the part of the Devil Jin that he lost to Jin. In fact, Jin's entire reason for living after activating the Devil Jin for the first time is to erase the Devil Jin from existence, even if it costs him his life or the lives of countless innocents, as shown in Tekken 6. In Tekken 6, Jin declared the Mishima Zaibatsu as an independent state and waged war on the world. The war ravaged the world, and judging by what we've seen so far from Tekken 8, continues to do so. The entire reason Jin started this war was to give Azazel a physical form so that he could defeat it in hopes of ridding the world of the Devil Jin, as Azazel told Jin that filling the world with negative energy would be enough to awaken him. We'll have to wait and see if Jin truly can rid the world of Devil Jin once Tekken 8 releases. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked this video and learned something new, please do consider giving me a like and even subscribing if you'd like to watch more. Thanks guys, peace.